together with basmalah. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I want to continue our last week discussion. Right now, I will give you two more methods in solving the characteristic root of the equation. Okay, the first method is the factorization power 3, and then the second one will be factorization power 4. Now let's start. Now I will start with the factorization power 3 first. We can see that power 3 equation as a equation something like this. So it would be x power 3 plus a2 x squared plus a1x and a0. So we can symbolize the coefficient x squared as a2, okay, capital A, and then a coefficient x as a1, and also the constant value as a0. So we will divide, we will factorize this equation into x plus b with x squared plus a1x and a0. Be careful, pay attention that there are two kinds of a1, a0 in a capital, and a1, a0 in the capitalized letter. Okay. Now, how we solve this equation? We have already know that the formula for calculating b is a0 divided by a0, so capital by uncapitalized, and then a1 is a2 minus b, and then a0 is a1 minus a1 multiplied by b. And for the first iteration, the b value is 0. So, for example, I have example y equals to x power 3 plus 5x squared plus 10x plus 12 equals to 0. So we know that the a2 or coefficient x squared is 5, and then a1 is 10, and then the constant value is 12. Remember, okay, be careful, okay, pay attention that the coefficient of x power 3 should always be 1. Understand? So, after we know that the a2, a1, and a0 is 5, 10, and 12, then we make a table of iteration. Okay, it consists of b, okay, the value we want to get, and then a1 and also a0. We just put the first iteration, the b1, the b for the first iteration is 0, and then for a1 and a0 we just calculate using all the value in the equation I have already written. And after several equations, I don't know how many equations exactly, so it's already done by your friends in the classroom. So the value of either b, a1 or a0 will tends to be a certain kinds of a number. So the iteration stop after the value of the this coefficient no change anymore. So something like this. After 3.1, 2.8, 3.0, 2.9, 3.0, it will tend to be 3 only when I take the integer or the round number of the value. And then for a1, after 1.8, 2.1, 1.9, 2.0, it tends to be a certain kinds of a number will be 2. And then for a1, after 3.8, 4.1, 3.9, 4.0, 3.9, it will tends to be a round number 4. So after we know from the iteration the value of b, a1 and a0, so we get back to the equation. So we can see that the power 3 equation can be factorized into this equation. So we just put the value in this equation. So we can see here that x power 3 plus 5x squared plus 10x plus 12 equals to 0 will be factorized into x plus 3 and then x squared plus 2x plus 4. We can solve the square equation by factorization, or if you get difficulties, so we can use ABC formula. So minus b plus minus square b square, so root square b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. From this equation, fortunately, I don't know whether it is fortunately or unfortunately, for x2 and x3 is imaginary number. So when you find imaginary, so what is the characteristic, what is the sign of an imaginary number? So we cannot calculate the root square of minus value. So when you find minus value and then you root square, so just stop in this equation only, in this value. You don't need to calculate, because either your calculator or computer will not proceed these kinds of calculation. Understand? Any question before I continue to the power 4 equation solving?